Today's episode is reclaiming the narrative, telling our stories on our own terms, and it features someone who lives by that truth each and every day. My guest is DJ, a creative force from the south side of St. Louis, whose work spans everything from murals and tattoos to fashion shows, installations, and digital design. Her message that is storytelling belongs to us, that we don't need permission to make meanings out of our lives. We're talking media, identity, community, and the ways young people are boldly shaping a new image of St. Louis when rooted in truth, beauty, and legacy. So, how are you today, DJ? Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow, what an intro. I am doing so well. I'm very blessed to be here, excited to meet you.
Yeah.
Today is a good day.
So, my question is, you are doing tattoos, you're designing, you're painting murals. What aren't you doing? You're doing everything.
What am I not doing? I'm not sleeping.
Oh, and that's something we need to prioritize more as young people.
I'm realizing that mental health is a very big part of all of it. It coincides with the whole mission. If you're lacking that part, it's not going to come out the way you want it to.
No, I totally understand. I've been doing, activism since the age of 14. So,
Wow.
and I'm just turned 20 last week, so I can only imagine.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit about your roots growing up in the South City of St. Louis.
Okay, well, my intro, my name is Diogene, but everyone knows me by DJ, the one and only. My roots on the south side of St. Louis is a very colorful story. I'm going to try to condense it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Or the air. It just brought me community. I say that was my first experience with it there. On the south side, we kind of known for having the diverse groups. We live in the traditional four-family flats that you see on the state streets, as they call them.
Yeah.
And I was able to have a diversified pool of friends that I think kind of pushed or was a catalyst for me being comfortable with
you just
sharing
being
different
young,
stories
being
and experiencing
involved,
different
knowing your
things at a very
purpose at
young
such a
age.
young age.
Yeah,
I feel that, even as being a young person, that is sometimes things that we can question ourselves is what is our purpose? Where are we going to go going forward? And how can we make sure that we are making that mark? So what was it for you that you knew that, oh, this is my calling, this is my purpose, this is what I'm destined to be?
I actually practice this. So when you have an eternal feeling that you can't really shake, it's something that gnaws at you, it claws at you every day. That's your calling. No matter what you're doing in life or where you may find yourself, you're gonna revert back to that. And with me, it's always been art and creativity.
Yeah.
I think I was able to hear that voice at an earlier age because my parents gave me the space to live in my creativity. They fostered it, they honed it in, and I was able to completely be myself without having the fear that comes with adulthood of who's watching.
Yeah, and when I was looking up at all the amazing work that you were doing in
Thank
the
you.
community and just looking at your artwork, I saw that you were just powerful at storytelling. And it was through your art, of course, and it was through your social media. And I was like, oh my goodness, she's very well spoken. She's very well spoken. She gets right to the point. I love your little aesthetic view. I feel that everyone is trying to get to that little aesthetic view on social media. I feel like you're already laying down that groundwork doing that.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, what inspired you or made you fall in love through storytelling through art?
I'm actually wearing him on my neck right now. My late father, Raven Steele, my middle bird. One of our ways to bond, our love language was film. I just feel like it encapsulates every form of storytelling at once. You can be in an art gallery, you can show a piece, you can have dialogue with it and accompany it with music. So film has this way of being this gumbo soup of visual storytelling to me.
Yeah.
We bonded over the late and greats, from Inglourious Bastards, all the way to Lost Boys, The Princess Bride. Like, he got me schooled at a very young age, and I was able to develop a love for the classics before I knew what they even were.
And, you say I tell my story the way he did. I make it beautiful. What does that mean to you?
That is in reference to God. He was the original, the greatest storyteller that we have. I like to think of him as the greatest artist of all time. Just look what he cooked up.
Yeah.
I make it beautiful by giving it perspective. I think in the mundane or in everyday lifestyles, you're not able to really see the beauty in everything. As an artist, I'm just forced by nature to see it through that lens. Heartbreak, tragedy, some of things that we might not necessarily draw back to art all stand out to me and pop out as something that you can make beautiful if you give it the correct perspective. So my way of doing that is giving a perspective to things and displaying it as beautiful.
Yeah. So your work is in many forms. How do you find that balance or that medium?
I've been struggling with my title. You know, when people say, "Who are you? You multidisciplinary artist, or you're a brand strategist, or content curator?"
You're everything. You're everything.
I try, but
yeah.
you don't. I like to call myself, I say, a jack of all trades and a master of some.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my focus on being able to create versus just being stuck as an artist. I can paint, you know, I can do things with my hands, but there are other many ways to make something, you know, visually appealing. So I just try it. Hey, DJ, you think you can do a sculpture? Of course I can.
Of course you
and
can.
And then I find out.
Of course you can put your mind to it and do
can.
it. Yeah, so you spoke about your late great father. Who else has been a great inspiration in your life that has really just inspired you to keep going?
I want to say mentorship has been really huge at this point in my career right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced through my previous job before I went full-time entrepreneurship with, I would like to say, a curating guru. His name is Davide Weaver. And I'm overly ambitious. So when I first started this job, I said, you know what, I'm going to have a sit down. I'm going to have a lunch with the chief marketing officer.
Okay. Put yourself in the room.
She agreed, though. She agreed. She was like, yeah, we'll have a sit down. And I asked her, how do I be involved?
Yeah.
How do I get to where I want to get to? What are my steps? Who do I need to speak with? And she introduced me to Davide, and I've been stuck by his side ever since. He started Taste of St. Louis. Originally, that was here in St. Louis.
Yes. I look forward to it every year.
Isn't it wonderful? He started Art Dimensions, which, little sneak peek on the air, we may be reviving here soon. And he's just been by my side this entire time, believing in my vision, saying that I can do it. He's a really big inspiration for me at this moment.
Can you share a time where your art made someone feel seen?
Yes. I can't say at this point in my life, especially with the critique that I have as an artist with my own work, that I have a favorite piece. But I do have a piece that I say is my most powerful. I was commissioned to do a work of art for a grandmother. She was being made a grandmother by her daughter, and she wanted to surprise her with a painting. And I think something like that from the heart is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone other than motherhood. So just kind of, it was an ensemble of beauty, I would say. And she was having a daughter, and she wanted me to encapsulate that relationship and that bond between a mother and her daughter. And I was able to do that for her. She still has that painting. It was probably one of my highest sold paintings at the time. And she's a collector of mine. So shout out to Keela.
Yeah. I feel that, you know, going back to when you spoke about mentorship, every guest that I have on this show, which is very inspiring to me, is knowing that they had a mentor help get them to where they are. Of course, family and mentorship. And I tell people this all the time. Mentorship is what actually saved my life. Growing up in a broken household, not really having a support system from family. And, you know, it's so crazy saying this, but when we see a lot of young people doing a lot of the amazing work, we automatically assume that they came from a perfect household. And, you know, I grew up in Riverview Garden School District, one of the most communities of poverty, you know, in the St. Louis County area. And I had
about Glasgow?
Yeah, I went to La Masters, though, off Cambridge. It's over there, though, over there by Glasgow.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But I'm saying all that to say is that we are not defined by our zip code, nor that we are defined by what statistics may say. And I think that continuing to see you doing the work, growing up in the South City of St. Louis and doing all the things that you are trying to do to make an impact in your community is not only inspiring, but it's impactful for the next generation. And I want to ask you, what advice can you give to any young girl that is just trying to be seen, that just wants her work to be known, to let her know that whatever she's doing is not being unnoticed? How can we support other young women that are trying to do the same similar work that you are doing?
I think the best thing that a young woman can do, no matter what her career is stay grounded in herself. And that is a very hard task. That is much easier said than done. You have to fight and push to self-identity because the world will try to give you labels. The world will try to put an identity on you before you've realized who you are yourself. Your earlier years should be focused on who you are as a person. Once you stand in your truth and who you are, that becomes your superpower because no one can knock you off your square. Nobody can throw you off your pivot. So I say my advice would be find your self-identity, find yourself.
Yeah. So how do you feel that your work contributing to the larger narrative of St. Louis City or the St. Louis region?
We're so overlooked. There's so much talent here. Like right now, as you were speaking to me about your upbringing, I'm inspired. Like this is an answered prayer that I'm sitting in. I was thinking, how am I going to get on a podcast? And I'm sitting here and you're 20 years old. I'm 26. So just to know that, the generation behind us, they coming strong. I think St. Louis is severely overlooked because of the narrative that they have chose to tell the world about us before we got the chance to tell it ourselves. You think of chaos. I know we got the nickname, say St. Louis has a lot of names. Let's just say that. And I think that people have overlooked the true talent that has always been here and is still growing here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was recently, I take a civic engagement college course, and I asked a question to a St. Louis activist. I was like, I tell people St. Louis is worth saving, but who gets to decide to save St. Louis? And who gets to decide to say this is where we want to go next in St. Louis? And I think that is a very controversial question to ask because of the history of St. Louis and how that has been ingrained and how the structural racism exists. How does the environmental racism exist? We live in a city that is segregated both socially and economically. And how do we as young people, how can we shape that? How can we shape that vision of St. Louis? And who gets to decide what that vision looks like in the future?
And I think right now, what I love about our generation is we have to decide who goes first. Because we're breaking generational curses, and that's not something that you can do by perpetuating the same behaviors. So someone has to go first. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Somebody has to go first. And I also want to say this, is that we have the older generation always say we want to pass it down, and I'm like, no, we want to work with you. Like, I need you as more as you need me. Because you've been through things that I've never experienced. And I've been through things that you've probably never experienced. So having those both shared experiences and shaping those two into one by being unified can make meaningful change in our communities. Absolutely.
So how can we do that in an effective way?
We talked about it, mentorship. Like, we're both here because of people who believe in our visions.
Yeah, so I want to get into your legacy. Like, what do you want to leave behind?
Perfect time to bring up my sons. I am a mother of two, Sarah Mee Ryu and Sarah Varen Love Jones.
What? Such a unique name.
I tried my best with that.
Such unique names.
I tried my best. My legacy, of course, starts with them. But I think beyond that, like, I am I would like to say the maternal head of my family. And I'm gonna make that a statement. They say grandma or great grandma, and they able to go back, and it's me. I want them to be able to say, look at all that came from that. And I'm able to do that because I was given the gift of motherhood.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hopefully that spreads out into the world and, make some waves.
How old are they?
My oldest son just turned 5. He'll be starting kindergarten. I'm freaking out.
You're going to be that mom that cries and then go into the classroom and just be there and just sit there and cry too. Like,
I'm not going to be overbearing. I'll probably spend the entire day like outside in the parking lot.
At the park, and that's okay.
Give him a little
You're going to be on time when it's time when that bell rings.
I'll be the first car in line.
To be early is to be on time. And to be on time is to be late.
You know some things.
Yes. So, what story are you still learning how to tell?
That's a good one. What story am I still learning how to tell? I think I'm still learning how to be okay with failure. I'm still learning that it's all a journey and you have to be present where you are in that moment. Like I could do it right now. Like just looking around the room, like this is gonna be a memory in a couple hours. But right now at this moment, I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do, and I have to learn to keep that at my focus. Because you get so caught up in what's next once you hit a milestone, that you forget how hard you work to get right where you are.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm learning to tell myself right now and asking God to help give me grace for. People ask, what are you driven by? People say success or just trying to be amazing, just trying to do all these things. But I tell people I'm driven by fear. And I'm driven by not making sure that I don't put myself in a position of not growing.
Okay.
And I want to grow. I want to be able to know that I worked so hard to get to where I am. So when you said earlier in the show, you want to get more rest, I totally understand that. Yeah, I definitely
want to share something with you because right before you said that, I kid you not, it came across my mind because I used to operate in fear. But I heard somewhere, and I'm not sure, I don't want to misquote God, but he doesn't give the spirit of fear. So what has helped me tackle that is to know that fear is not from him. So if it's not from him, I don't want it. And I just want to share with you that God definitely qualifies the called. and it gave me more ease to just live my truth.
I definitely agree. So as I wrap up this show, I like to ask everyone a few quick questions.
Okay.
It's like a rapid fire question.
Let's
okay?
go.
And so answer it to the best of your ability.
Okay.
Favorite song?
Burgundy by Kamau. We just blasted it on our way here.
Ooh.
Look it up. I know you guys haven't heard it. Do that.
Okay, and your favorite artist?
Brent Fayez.
Ooh, favorite song by him?
That is a very hard question. Off the top, off the dome, Eden.
Eden, mine is Still Your Best.
Ooh,
Love Still Your Best.
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on a new Snow Alger. You know who she is?
Of course.
Yes, I love her. Oh my
Got
goodness.
some music things
Yes,
to discuss.
yes. Favorite movie?
I always say Django, off rip. But think of just not the popularity of it. Dialogue, cinematography. Quentin Tarantino's my favorite director, and Jamie Foxx carried.
Oh,
Yeah, Django.
My mom watched that when I was younger. Them was one of the movies where I passed by her room and see her watching it and just went on to my business.
Get
But
into it.
I'm gonna watch it. All right, my last question. What is your favorite book?
Whoa. Oh, my favorite book is The Red Rose Box, and I forget the author. Or Memoirs of a Geisha.
I'm pretty sure the listeners will find that author for you.
Please find that author for me. I read it as a child and it stuck with me ever since. It's The Red Rose Box, and what's crazy is it ripped in half.
Oh.
So I wasn't able to finish it for like a year. This was my favorite book because the story just sat in my heart for a year. I found the second half. It was worth it.
It was destined to be. It was destined to be. Well, DJ, we thank you so much for coming on Say It Proud with Precious Berry. You are amazing. You know, all the amazing work that you're doing through just storytelling, through your art, and just showing up in your community and being that light. Just know that a lot of young people are looking up to you. I'm looking up to you. When I saw your page and I saw all the amazing work that you're doing, know that your name is being spoken in rooms that you're not even in. So continue to do that work. Continue to show up. And where can people follow you or stay connected with you?
Please follow me at _first. It's IN.D for Diogene, .visuals plural, INC _ on Instagram.
Alrighty, thank you so much for coming on Say It Proud. Catch us on Beast District Radio at Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you, DJ.
Thank you.